22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
Just hit the button again. I hit that. Yo. There we go. Okay, so. All right, so today, starting over again. You are tuned into Black Questions that presents the People Before Politics radio show every Sunday 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com. Giving you that real talk for the community since 2014. As I was saying, we have, we just got here turning everything up, so the volume wasn't correct. So everybody should be able to hear me now. All the people that said they can't hear me, tell me now that you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up, say we hear you now, so I know that you can hear me. We had two congressional candidates from the New York 17th Congressional District, Allison Fine and Evelyn Farkas. We decided with everybody, all these precautions about Corona, to not have the the candidates come on. You know, the primary is not till June, so we got plenty of time, and we will reschedule both of those guests. Lorraine hit me middle of the week saying, you know, this Corona thing is getting crazy. We really need to address the Corona situation. So that's what we're going to do, and we got a doctor calling in around 7 o'clock, Dr. Rabadi. We got a couple of articles we wrote on Black Westchester. Damon wrote about it possibly being man-made, this whole Corona thing being man-made. And I decided to with everybody else doing the same thing, I decided to cover it from a different angle, with this being March Madness. Um, this is the first year. March Madness is going to take on a whole different aspect. There's no games. The sports world is shut down. Um, and I wrote an article that y'all can check out on your leisure. I'm posting the link now. March Madness 2020, the month major sports became collateral damage of the coronavirus. Um, I'll just give you the beginning. When you think of March Madness, usually terms like bracketology, the activity of predicting the participants in and outcomes of the games and sport tournaments, comes to mind. Images of the NCAA college basketball tournament stealing the attention of all the men, leaving their wives and girlfriends wondering where the hell they've disappeared to. Well, ladies, you might not have to worry this year. In 2020, March Madness has a new meaning. It will be forever remembered as the month that the entire sports world stopped. In 2020, women may be praying that for something to get their husbands and boyfriends out of their hair, since the world as we know it has ended, and now they have nothing to do. You had the NBA. I think we have our third NBA player just is a confirmed case. So the NBA has postponed its season for at least 30 days, which would take us to like April 10th, 11th, or 12th. And the playoffs were supposed to start on the 18th. You got the whole NCAA. Well, all of the college tournaments are all canceled. And you know what? I just want to say one thing. I feel bad for all the seniors who stayed in school to compete so they could get into this NCAA tournament, and for all the schools that had never made it before and this was their first time ever in the tournament. Who knows? I mean, next year they may never get back there again. And the seniors, this is their last year of playing. So I really feel bad for a lot of them, but it was the right thing to do. The NFL has canceled its annual meeting. The National Hockey League has postponed its season, and NASCAR, the XFL, and even the golf, the PGA, the Masters has been played every year since World War II. This will be the first year that the Masters is not played since World War II. And that's the big boy. The Masters is the big boy for the PGA. Everybody is looking forward to that. So it's just basically like this is uncharted territory. We have never been through anything like this before. And then, what nobody's talking about, they're talking about the games. You got to think about all the people that work in the arenas, the vendors, the concession stands, all those people that work behind the scenes now have no job. And all those hotels and airlines that were already doing bad, they were counting on these sports events because, they had to fly, they had to stay somewhere, the fans had to stay somewhere, especially the NCAA, and now all of that is over. None of that is going to happen right now. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like I said, Damon wrote, I'm going to share Damon's article in there too. Damon wrote an article about the situation, about is the coronavirus man-made bioweapon. There's been all kinds of theories on population control and all of that other stuff. So we wanted to address some of those issues. And without further ado, I would like to bring on our co-host, the lovely Lorraine Lopez, in the building. It is just me and her. It's just me and her today. We'll have some callers, and we'll be addressing this. We will have no in-studio guests at least this week, and maybe possibly we may have to do the same thing next week. Hopefully, with everything closing down, the station may be closed down. So there's a great possibility this could be the last show in the studio for a minute. So, we decided that, we would try to educate people as much as possible as Corona. Now, Lorraine Lopez has been doing a lot of research on the virus itself, and So first, say what's up to the people.
Hey, what's up, people? Hope everyone's staying safe.
Real quick, so you had a scare this weekend with one of your doggies. So would you like to speak about that a little bit? I know that was an emotional moment for you. I know how much your dogs mean to you.
My dog fell out the window.
Yes, I know.
My Buffy.
Yeah.
I was leaving with Mason, and she wanted to come, and she ran down the stairs, so I had to run down the stairs. I picked her up, brought her back upstairs, closed the door behind me, and walked down the stairs. And by the time I got outside, I looked, there was Buffy standing in front of me, and the neighbors were running out the house saying, "What happened?" And I was like, "Oh my, what is Buffy doing here?" And they saw when she fell out the window, and she landed on that big antenna, dish antenna.
Mm-hmm.
She tore it off the roof, and it came down with her. And I think that kind of saved her life, because she fell 3 stories down, and I checked her out, and no broken bones, no fractures, no nothing. Just a little bit scared, but she was okay. But it's very high, the 3 floors, like, and she's 12 years old. I'm just so grateful she's okay. You know,
that's actually amazing. It's like,
I mean, when you think about it, yeah.
I was kind of shocked when you told me. I was like, wow. Like, I really didn't have any words. I was like, I guess she had 9 lives like a cat. I don't know how many more she got, but she might not want to test that again. But I'm glad that the dog is okay.
Yeah.
We had one person says Joanna May. She said we have to pull together and do what we need to do for our health and safety. Everything else is secondary. God bless. And Rob Winning Grease, is that Grease or Greasy? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Says everybody takes a loss in this in some way or another. That is correct.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the Westchester schools have closed for 2 weeks.
They just announced today that 44 school districts are going to be closing. In Yonkers, which is the largest city, well, not really, well, in Westchester County.
Definitely, and it's the third largest, I think the third or fourth largest in the state.
4th largest in the state, right behind Rochester.
And it might be able to overcome.
If we can do the census, which, by the way, you're sitting at home, go on the internet, fill out the census, or most likely you already got your census form in the mail.
Ours just came in yesterday.
Yeah, I got mine 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, you could. It takes 2 minutes to fill it out online.
Yeah.
And like that's really, really important. Like, we can't put that to the side, because you know we're going through stuff. Because eventually this is all going to pass over, and we need the federal money.
Well, I mean, it's very important in times like these, because this is where your funding for all of the things for your city. So all the cities out there, the municipalities, are going to need extra funding to take care of their cities. And I think Mayor Spano for Yonkers, that he may be calling in some point of the day and talk about some of the things. I know that you had reached out to him on Facebook. Would you like to share that with that exchange about what? The looking for a response from him.
Yeah, he responded.
Okay. Well, you called. A lot of people called to you to find out what was going on.
Yeah, I kind of called them out because people needed to hear something from him, and I was getting a lot of calls and stuff. People just a little bit confused. I didn't know what was going on, and to be honest, I found out later that he didn't know what was going on, because the health department didn't tell him till the next day that there were 6 confirmed cases in Yonkers.
So that's what there's 6 so far?
6 so far. If he calls in today, we can ask him if that number has increased.
Shanice Coleman said, "Hey guys, and thank you for keeping us informed." Shout out to Shanice Coleman.
So, I Can I give you some numbers?
Please, whatever you have for us.
All right, because I wrote everything that I can remember down. And and by the way, we known about this for a while already. I had when the first cases came out in Wuhan, I was telling Tasha about it. She told the city council, nobody believed her. Nobody believed that there was such thing as a coronavirus. I had John Rubel call me, a council member, to ask me what is it about, and I told him it's not a joke, it's coming. And here it is. So globally, 156,400 cases. Out of that, there's 5,833 people have succumbed to it and have died.
This is worldwide. This
is worldwide.
Okay.
Out of the worldwide, what you had mentioned earlier, 73,968 people have been discharged or are much better. They recovered.
Right.
They recovered.
At least 60,000 in China alone, because China's 80,000 that was affected. I heard that at least 60,000 of them they're on the other side of it. They've overcome it or whatever.
And then there's like about 77,000 cases pending tests throughout the world. In the U.S., we have 3,155 people, and 62 people have already died today. 5 of them in New York.
So the first number is confirmed cases. The second number is deaths.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the U.S., 3,155 confirmed, 62 deaths. 5 of those deaths were in New York. We was 3 this morning, but 2 more got added onto the New York list today, this afternoon. Out of the 3,155, 729 are in New York State. New York State, we have 137 people in hospitals, 65 people in ICU, and 46 people in incubated. And out of these people, 196 of the 700 and change are in Westchester County. You want me to keep talking?
Yeah, whatever you have for us.
Okay. New York is we like the one with the most cases right now, but like the governor said, California is closely behind. We keep going back and forth, we like seesawing with the numbers, but he says that keep in mind that a lot of people haven't got tested because we haven't been able to get these damn tests from the government.
Now, I just want so Glen Island and New Rochelle, I think, is starting a testing center, and people can. It's like a drive-through testing center, and I've heard on the news that they may be doing the same thing with Jones Beach in Nassau County.
For the one in New Rochelle, you get priority if you live in New Rochelle because that's where the hub is basically in the United States. So you get a priority, and there's a number to call. You just can't drive up. You have to call and you have to make an appointment.
Right, you have to make reservations. So, on a lighter note. So a woman had to go to court. I'm not sure if it was a criminal case or not, but when they saw that she was from New Rochelle, they canceled her case.
Remember that happened to me one time when I walked in with the mask? They
canceled her case, and she did not have to report to court. I don't know if she has to report later.
Court. Yeah. Speaking of court, Governor Cuomo gave Chief Judge Janet DeFiore until tomorrow. She's got 24 hours to decide how are they going to handle court cases because people are in that's a setting where a lot of people go, obviously. So she's got till tomorrow, he said, to figure out how she's going to work the courts.
And he was on was that today? He did a live press conference today. I think today.
Every day he's been doing one.
Yeah, we're gonna play portions of it of today's. After you finish talking, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
But there's so many topics that we can discuss as far as this is concerned. As far as the healthcare is concerned, we only got. I wrote this. I wrote this shit down. I'm telling you because this is important stuff. As far as in New York State, we have 53,000 hospital beds. 3,000 of them are ICU beds. Out of those 3,000 ICU beds, 75% of them are people already using it for, whatever illnesses they may have. What the governor is worried about is, he said, we're getting ready to hit a wave. We're getting ready to hit a wave.
And that's the clip I'm getting ready to show, too.
Yeah, he said, look at Wuhan, look at China, look at Italy. Italy, 368 people died today. In Italy, 368.
So a question from the audience, Rob says, do you think the elderly are affected more in those numbers? I think is great, your numbers, you're getting this out.
Of course, the elderly are more affected. They're the most vulnerable because a lot of the elderly have, heart disease. I'm finding out a lot of elderly have asthma these days. Asthma, hypertension.
Situation,
yeah. They're the most vulnerable. People are the elderly and people with underlying conditions.
I'm gonna read this comment, and then we're gonna go to Governor Cuomo portion of his video.
Okay.
So candidate Sammy Ravello said, COVID-19 has brought America to its knees. We have a responsibility as Americans and New Yorkers to look out for one another. Thank you, A.J. Woodson, Lorraine Lopez, and Damon Jones, for keeping the public abreast. This is a real threat to our society.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sammy. And this is a portion of Governor Cuomo's press conference earlier.
In it and do it afterwards. Let's be constructive, which is focusing on today and tomorrow. There's an old military expression that management officials use, don't fight the last war. This is not about what happened yesterday. We are looking at a new war that no one has seen before. This is a case of first impression for this nation. We have never fought a virus like this with this potential consequence. So plan forward, plan forward. You see that wave? Try to reduce the size of the wave. Assume you can't reduce the size of the wave. And assume the wave breaks at a higher level than the hospital system can accommodate. I believe that's what's going to happen. So, what do? New York State hospital capacity, 53,000 beds, 3,000 ICU beds. Is that a lot of beds? Is that little beds? 3,000 ICU beds, presently about 80% occupied. Okay? So that means you have several hundred ICU beds available. Why are the ICU beds important? Because the people who come in, vulnerable populations, older people, underlying illnesses, respiratory problems, they need the ICU bed. They need the ventilators. They need the machines that breathe for them. Those are the ventilators. They are in ICU beds. The overwhelming crush is going to be on the ICU beds, not the 53,000 normal hospital beds, because those are basically going to be people recovering from the flu. You can recover from the flu at home. If it's really bad, you go into the hospital. They make sure that you are not dehydrated. But the critical people are the people who had underlying illnesses and need those ICU beds and those ventilators. 3,000 goes very, very quickly on any projection of these numbers. What do? Maximize existing hospital beds and hospital capacity, potentially build more capacity. Again, we're only talking about several weeks here before that wave breaks. Potentially build more on the existing hospitals, provide more staff, identify backup staff. That's why we're going to medical schools, retired nurses, retired doctors. Develop a reserve staff because healthcare workers will get sick. And when they get sick, they go home. You want to limit the hospitals, limit staff. That's the way you limit the hospitals. Find doctors who are on reserve and purchase the necessary equipment. What makes an ICU bed an ICU bed? Primarily the ventilator. These ventilators are expensive to begin with, and they are scarce. And you can't find available ventilators no matter how much you're willing to pay right now, because there's literally been a global run on ventilators. And free up beds that are in the hospitals. How do you do that? Two ways. One, we may get to a point where you cancel elective surgery. You can have your hip replaced next month, not now. Or develop another facility that you can move people from an existing hospital bed who don't need intensive care into a different facility. How can you build more hospital capacity now? That's a great question. It has never been done before. It takes years to build a hospital. It takes years to convert an existing facility into a hospital. It's billions of dollars. It's a workforce in the thousands. But on the theory of try everything, an area that we have to explore is, can you build more hospital capacity now? I'll get back to that in a minute.
So I ended right there on purpose because currently this outbreak, this pandemic, is one more reason we need to save and transform Mount Vernon Hospital. We don't need to lose a hospital right now.
Is it open?
It is currently open for business, yes. A lot of people don't know that, so thank you for that question. It is currently open for business. Montefiore has to do two things, and they have to get approval from the state before they can open up and do any work on the Sanford Boulevard location that they want to make, and before they can close, they have to go back again. So they still need approval before they can do that. But this shows the need for the saving and transforming Mount Vernon Hospital. Thank you, Glenn, because Glenn mentioned Mount Vernon Hospital too. I can't urge that enough. And, you know, people are like, oh, nobody's using it right now. If you heard what the governor said about how many beds and how many ICUs and how stressed the hospitals are going to be, this is not the time that we need to lose a hospital. We need the governor to give some resources, or whoever to give some resources to Mount Vernon, so Mount Vernon can be able to handle this pandemic in this area, because it is going to get worse. I want everybody to hear me on that, because the president has us believing that, oh, it's going to go away, it's no problem. No, this sucker is going to get worse before it gets better, and we need to brace for that. We need to prepare for that. You know, one of the things that this has got me to do, and a lot of other people, I must wash my hands like 80 times a day. Seriously, my skin is dry. Like, lotion just doesn't stay on my hand. My hand looks like the Elephant Man, right? It's rough. Because from washing, when I first came in the studio, I washed my hands before I touched anything on this board. Before I touched any board, before I touched anything in this room, I went to the bathroom and I washed my hands. You understand what I'm saying? We have to do that. We have to wash our hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, sorry, for at least 20 seconds. Even before this, that's the health department for people that work in your food. That's what they have to do, because that kills germs. To 20 seconds of washing your hands and soap and water. So we need to do that. And the second thing is, for all of y'all going to the supermarket and y'all buying all kinds of stuff, paper towel and everything, you know what I didn't? You know what area that I seen in every supermarket that I've gone through that is an area that looks like it's untouched? The fruits and the vegetables. The things that you need.
Because you can't stockpile that or buy.
Yeah, but you need to buy something. This is the stuff we need to be intaking to help fight this. For our body to fight this stuff, we need to feed it all of the vitamins we get from the fruits and the vegetables. And there is stuff that you can do, and you can freeze some vegetables. You can freeze. I got green beans and broccoli and all kinds of stuff in my freezer, like fresh stuff. And I put them in the bag and they're in the freezer. So you can freeze some of the stuff. But it's just amazing that, like all the stuff that is not as good for you. That's all the stuff that we're buying. But the stuff that really could help you, and I don't know all of y'all on the plant-based diet, y'all can speak to that. But I was just saying those are the areas. Like, the beautiful thing is I didn't have to buy a whole lot, because next week I can go back and get what I need, because it's still those areas are not touched. And then I can buy what I need per week or whatever, because I have limited space to carry stuff too. But I don't have to go buy a whole bunch of it. I can buy what I need to get me through a week or two. And with your kids being home, the kids are going to be home for 2 weeks. Oranges and healthy snacks. You can get some fruits and stuff for them to have healthy snacks. You know what I'm saying? Instead of eating junk food and all kinds. You couldn't buy the multi bags of chips and stuff. That was sold out everywhere. The chips are depleted. You know what I'm saying? Cookies and all that stuff is going. But fruits and vegetables is probably the best. Fruits is the best thing. Oranges and stuff is the best thing that you could be giving your kids right now, while they're home, to build up their immune system.
Speaking about food, kids being home, that's where people are getting frustrated with the school systems, whether they're closing or not. I know Yonkers is closed Monday and Tuesday, pending a longer closure, and what the governor is stating, we'll close the schools, but show me some type of program in place for two things. One, child care, because emergency responders, health service people all have children in schools, and if they have to stay home and take care of their child, who's going to take care of the people, especially in hospitals and nurses and stuff like that. And the other thing that he's requiring, and he asked Mayor de Blasio to do this by tomorrow too. Another one he gave a 24-hour notice to find out how we're going to feed these kids that do not have the nutrition at home, because at the end of the day, that is a reality.
Some of these kids, there are a lot of kids that they get they eat either breakfast and lunch. Some eat breakfast and lunch at school. That's how they eat, because that's how their parents count on the breakfast program for the schools that have that, and for lunch that their parents count on that to feed their kids. And there's a great group of people in need that count on those free lunches, the breakfasts and stuff. And now that they'll be home, like you said, that's going to be a strain. Two people said something. Carol Washington, shout out to Carol from Long Island. She said, yes, you can freeze or juice the fruits and vegetables. That's what I do. I got a NutriBullet. I'm juicing every day. Every day I'm making smoothies. And Steven Simpson says schools.
Hey, Steve.
Schools in area with no cases are closed till April 21st. An attempt to head off the virus.
Yeah,
well, I don't know.
But they gotta find a contingency plan for those two issues.
I don't know. I know a lot of the schools are closed to the end of March, and they're going to review it after that at some point. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if everybody's closed to April 21st.
Yeah, I think it depends.
Right, because a lot of them are just 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mimi Roca said, her kid's school in Scarsdale was 2 weeks. Now Vernon just sent out something this week, over the weekend, that they're closed for 2 weeks.
Well,
New
today,
Rochelle was closed already.
Westchester County Executive just issued an emergency declaration saying 44 school systems are going to be closing.
Well, yes, and most of them, and it's. But right now it's 2 weeks that I know for sure. We know for sure. I'm not questioning Stephen Simpson. I just haven't heard the April 21st date yet. That was the only thing. That was the only thing I was saying. And he said, "Hey, Lorraine."
Hey.
So real quick, just we have a lot of people tuned in. Atif, I saw your message. Not right now. I'm just trying to get a lot of stuff out real quick, and we have a doctor calling in soon. So shout out to Lisa Mitchell. Cheryl Blue, Brownlee Fox, Rob Winning Greasy or Grease. I apologize if I mispronounced it. Grice. Okay, and I messed it all up. Wanda London,
Hey, Wanda.
Patricia Tolson, Ivan Thaxton, the last name is Lang. A lot of new people that I've never seen before. Shanice Coleman, Osiris Imhotep. What's going on, my brother? Pat English, Long Island. Marvin Church, Jen Elkers.
Hey, Jen.
Atif Coleman, Carol Washington. I said already from Long Island. Kenneth Chamberlain Jr. is tuned in. Glenn P. Butler. Stephen Simpson, Omar Herrera, Osning, right? Osning.
Yeah. Osning, how you doing?
Yes.
I hope everybody's okay over there.
Yes. Ty Hardy. Yes, Omar, if you tuned in, put in the comment section, how is things in Osning? Let us know how the hospital, how the area is. Is there quarantines? Is the school open? What's going on in Osning? If you can put that in the comment section so we can report that would be great. I really appreciate you. Ty Hardy, and I think that's everybody unless Lorraine sees somebody that I didn't see from one of the other
Nelly
channels.
Hernandez, Cookie Alexander. Hey, Cookie, what's up? Justice Starks, Kenneth Chamberlain, Maria Bonilla. And, that's it. You got it. You had them all.
Well, I thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody who just tuned in. We're doing a special show on the coronavirus. We have canceled our congressional candidates Allison Fine and Evelyn Farkas. So if you were waiting to hear from them, we have postponed them till later. The primary is not till June, so we have plenty of time to speak to them. That's that for that busy race. That's the 17th. Neil Lowy's the 17th. So the Elliot Engel must be the 16th. Yeah, and NY 17 is Neil Lowy's seat, and that heated race. So Sammy Ravella, I think, is running in against for the Elliot Engel seat.
Yeah.
And that's the 16th. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, and by the way, our condolences go out to Sammy Ravella. His father just passed away last week.
My prayer and condolences, my brother. I did not know. This is the first I'm hearing. Carol Washington, she says, I live in North Carolina now, and the schools are closed. And starting as of March 23rd, online classes for the kids. The families that don't have internet access can call their cable companies, and they're offering 60 days of free internet for the families with kids in school from K to 12. From kindergarten to 12th grade and college students. That's good because that's what they're doing. I know Mount Vernon.
I think they're doing that in New York State. They're doing something similar to that
online,
too. Yeah.
Online stuff. So
the cable companies are not gonna cut anybody off, man. And I paid my bill. If I would have known.
Well, good. You did the right thing in paying your bill. Yes, so it's going to be a joint. But thank you for that, Carol. Anybody else that's tuned in, if you would like to share where you live, your area, whether it's Westchester or not, the schools closed,
or how it's affecting you,
and how it's affecting you and the people in your area, please share that so we can read that. Shout out to Yonkers Councilwoman Tasha Diaz is tuned in.
AJ, like the governor said, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when.
Absolutely.
And he believes this is going to get ugly. And he's like, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but the reality is, he said, like he said, look at what happened in China, North Korea, and Italy. If you look at the trajectory between America and Italy, if you look at the timeline, right now, the time, we're like maybe, 8 weeks in or something like that. When they were 8 weeks in, they had less than we did. We're at the same. We're at that 8-week mark right now, and we outpassed them by numbers from what they were in, and then it just multiplied, and he's saying that's what's gonna happen here. He's like, don't make no mistake about it. And the thing that we have to do, it's like, it's up to us to stop this. It's not up to any, like, it literally is up to us. 3 things that we got to do. One of them is wash your hands, don't touch your face, which is what I've been doing the whole time I've been sitting here.
Yeah, I've actually done it once or twice too.
Oh man, I can't stop that. My face is itching all of a sudden. I guess when you're aware of it, that you're not supposed to do something, you kind of have to.
It's almost like anything you tell a child not to do.
Yeah, like you tell Dennis the Bennett, don't push that button, and damn it, he's gonna press it. That. If you stay home. Stay home. If there's no reason for you to go out, stay home. And 3, density control. We gotta, like right now, what is it, 500 people or more? But they've canceled just about everything. Broadway shows are closed. Even Wendy Williams or the night talk shows, no audiences.
Even we are not we're not in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah,
today.
we can. It's just me and you. Oh, snap.
Real quick, and I meant to say this earlier, and not to get off the subject. So rest in peace to a couple of people that had died on the anniversary of this week. The Notorious B.I.G., Craig Mack, a personally good friend of mine, and Nate Dogg. I just wanted to just remember all the 3 of them. Like I said, Craig Mack was a personal friend of mine when I lived in Long Island. Definitely greatly missed. We came up in the hip hop scene together in Long Island. We spent a lot of times in my basement playing video games and other things, and freestyle sessions and stuff. So we just want to give a shout out, and I want to remember the 3 legends in hip hop who the anniversary, they all passed this week. This week has been the anniversary of their passing. Shout out to everybody also, real quick, anybody dealing with anybody mourning. I know a lot of people that I know over the last 3-4 weeks to a month, they've lost family members. They're mourning. Some of those that have lost family members before that, they're still mourning. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all those mourning, and I want to give a shout out to all the caregivers. If you have never been a caregiver, you do not know the selflessness it takes to be a caregiver for your loved one or for others, because especially with your loved one, you're the closest one to them, so they take it out on you while you're trying to care for them, and it takes a special person to be a caregiver. So I just wanted to shout out all the caregivers. There's a lot of people taking care of their parents now. Your parents took care of you all these years. Now you're taking care of your parents, and some people taking care of siblings or whatever. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all the caregivers and for all of those mourning. Shortly, we're going to have a doctor to talk about the doctor who's going to be calling in.
Dr. Rabati says he's supposed to be calling in around 7 o'clock.
Just to tell everybody a little bit about him, that's what.
Dr. Rabati is in charge of the mayor's advisory health
advisory board.
Yes.
Okay.
And he actually just did a press conference with the mayor when the mayor did his press conference, and very well known in Yonkers, excellent man, a scholar, very helpful with a lot of stuff. I mean, he's like the man to go to.
And thanks to Lorraine Lopez and Councilwoman Tasha Diaz He will be calling in shortly. They've set that whole thing up. I had nothing to do with it. I had no contact with him. I do know him by reputation, but it was Lorraine and Tasha who got in touch with him eventually, and they kept going over and over until they got him, and he is supposed to be calling in, and hopefully he will give you from a medical perspective on what this coronavirus thing is, because a lot of people do not know. The coronavirus is the new boogeyman. Like, it's like, oh my God, coronavirus. Like, a lot of people don't really understand what it is.
Because it's new.
Right. But they still,
It's new. Nobody really understands what it is. All we know, it's coming.
Hopefully, he can give from a medical professional perspective. He can give us more information about what it is, what we can do to prevent it, what we do if we get it. Hopefully he can, because there's a lot of paranoia, and there's a lot of rumors going out, and there's a lot of false misinformation going out, and hopefully we will be able to shed to kill the rumors and put some facts on those misinformation, and hopefully the audience will be more informed. Stephen Simpson said, in Yonkers we have a robust emergency management office. One would hope there is a mitigation plan in place for these types of disaster. Lorraine is right. We need a contingency plan for the kids to get food and support. At this point, we should already have the plan in play. Exactly. It might be, but knowing how the kids will get those services and canceling schools will help stop the spread. Shout out to KP Patterson, Lorraine Moneypenny, and Stephen said, kudos to Councilman Tasha Diaz and others for delivering supplies to the people in need. Hashtag people of action. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's another thing you can do. So it's just a lot of
what's beautiful? You know what's beautiful? A lot of people are on Facebook saying, listen, if school is closed, and your child needs food, please, DM me. Private message me. I'll do whatever I can. Like, people are reaching out to parents. I don't know if any parent is going to, accept those offers, but there's going to come a time when the average Joe just can't go over to Maria's house and say, here's some food for your kid. Right. So, but like Steven said, it might, like he said, there should already be a plan, and it might be. I believe that the superintendent, the mayor, the county executive, the governor, I believe they're all working on that plan, because it's a priority, for the governor. It's a priority for our kids. I don't know what the plan is. CSCA, Lionel Turner, put out a letter today. He's pissed because they closed the school Monday and Tuesday, but all the CSCA employers and food workers were called and said they have to show up to work tomorrow, and they don't know what's going on.
Again, for all those who are listening, like Steven said, he sent us what's going on in his area, and Carol, who is from Long Island but lives in North Carolina, sent us what's going on in her area. Wherever it is that you live, whether it's in Westchester or not, if you are listening, type in the comment section. Let us know what city you're in, what city and state you're in, and how it is affecting your city, you and your family personally, whether your schools are closed, and give us that information, and I'm going to read it so we can share what's going on. Want to hear it from the people, what's going on and how it's affecting the people. So if you know anybody directly affected, and you want to share your story, please type it in the comment section, and I will gladly read it. Thank you very much.
Listen, could I just say real quick? Hi, Melissa Goldberg. Melissa Goldberg just tuned in, and I just want to say that when the mayor was here and we discussed the census, and he said, Lorraine, we're going to give you a call, he kept his word. They put me on the Complete Census Count Committee for the city of Yonkers, which is run by Melissa Goldberg. She's doing an excellent job, and that just reminded me to let people know one more time. If you're sitting at home, pick up the paper, pick up your packet, fill it out, or just, hey, listen, you could fill it out on your cell phone. You can fill it out on your cell phone. It only takes 2 seconds to get counted, and it's very, very important.
And one of those things, so for those who...
Yes, Tasha, they have a plan in place. Supposedly, it's like 6 places that they're gonna be opening for the kids, but they gotta announce it. They have to announce it.
They haven't announced it yet.
Yeah, they haven't announced.
And I seen a live video from Yonkers rapper Styles P from the Locks, and one of the things he said, we have to understand this is also affecting the learning of our kids. Yes, they might have these online packages, and there's going to be situations where parents are going to have to stay home too because maybe their jobs are closed or whatever.
Yeah.
Take this opportunity not for it to just be a vacation, but to make sure your kids are still learning. You know what I'm saying? So because we honestly don't know that they're going back to school in 2 weeks. We honestly don't know how bad this will be and how long they will be out of school. It could be for a lot longer than 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So as the parents, I know a lot of y'all, some of y'all are going to have to stay home. Some of y'all work in the school system, and some of y'all, your jobs are closing and you're going to be home anyway. And some of y'all are self quarantining and quarantining their families. So take these opportunities to make sure the learning of your kids' learning continues, because it's a drop off point. When they're not getting anything. It's very detrimental to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, have fun. Yes, have fun. Play some board games, whatever you're gonna do. But make sure that you stay on top of your kids' education and they're learning something. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not the school curriculum, you're teaching them something. Watch some documentaries with them, explain to them. You know what I'm saying? Do something. That's just something.
And you know what too? And you know what too? If your neighbors have kids and they're home, check on your neighbor.
Yes.
Because you know what? Parents can get overwhelmed. And sometimes they, I've seen it 100 times in Yonkers. They react. They react towards their kids. Sometimes, a parent needs to be told, hey, listen, you need a babysitter. Or do you need help with anything? Or do you want me to sit with the kids?
Right.
I mean, do it while we still can.
And check on your seniors.
A
lot of seniors live alone.
And they're scared to come out. They're scared to come out to go shopping.
They live alone. Make sure that they got what they need. If they need stuff picked up for them, check on them. I know. I talked to a senior, a woman one time, and she said her greatest fear is like if she died in her apartment and nobody knew she was dead for 3 or 4 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, check on your seniors. If you haven't seen somebody in a minute, check on them. They're the most endangered.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Kudos to Councilwoman Tasha Diaz. She went out yesterday with Gabi, her assistant, and they made packages for the seniors. And she brought them disinfectant. She brought them bleach. God, what else did you get, Tasha? Bleach, disinfectant, like cleaning supply. Oh, hand soap, antibacterial hand soap. She gave him more packages. I think it was Father Finian, because those seniors, they're too scared. They need help. And if you go to the if they go to the store, the supermarket, local supermarkets, they're not stocked.
Yeah, they're going through. The stores are crazy. So BJ's this Saturday, in Pelham Manor. So they open at 9. At 7:30, all of the shopping carts were gone. There were no free shopping carts, and there was a line around the building. And that's at 7:30. That means people had got there way earlier, and they opened at 9.
That's everywhere.
Food Bazaar in Mount Vernon was a ridiculous line. Mm-hmm. Stop and Shop was just sold out of.
Sam's, Costco.
Yeah, they sold out of so many
Tasha
things.
said toilet paper. She gave him toilet paper too. She was able to get some.
Right, toilet paper, hand soap, hand sanitizer. I've seen some of the New York State hand soap, hand sanitizer stuff that they made in New York State. Mm-hmm. I've seen some of it trickling in Westchester. I know Mount Vernon.
Really?
I know Mount Vernon got some, and it was given, and it was the mayor's office, along with the fire department, was giving it to organizations like churches and organizations and stuff.
Hispano better not be holding out on us.
I don't know if it's going to.
I'm kidding.
Trickle down to regular people, but I know for like places where large people gather, like churches and stuff, they were the first to get supplied. And I guess that's going to continue. So, I know because I've seen one of the firefighters had a big bottle on it and took a picture of it, and he was like, "Thank you, New York State, and thank you, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard."
That's awesome.
Yes.
Good for her. She got the hookup. Listen, speaking of the mayor, speaking of politics, how has this coronavirus affected the politics? Louisiana and Georgia just postponed their primary for the presidential primaries.
Well,
and Westchester County, they people collecting signatures
are having problems.
No, the governor brought it down to 30%.
Oh, okay.
30%, reduced it 30%.
And I know there were
because all the candidates, they wrote a letter and they all signed it to Governor Cuomo. And they was like, "You got to give us a hand here, bro, because it's hard to collect signatures. People don't want to open the door. They don't want to sign. You have to bring your own pen, and you got to wipe it with Lysol wipes before you give it to them. And then they have to keep the pen because it's already contaminated. And it's a hassle for these folks right now."
Absolutely, absolutely. I know that the New York 17 congressional district, they were trying to get that whole petition process thrown out.
They did.
And I don't know if it's going to be thrown out. I think it's just going to be less
they
signatures.
thanked the governor because what he did, his response was he brought it down 30%.
Right. So I know they're having a problem with that. Shout out to Damon K. Jones. I don't know when our callers are calling in, but if you want to call in, I know if you want to add to the conversation, we've canceled our guests, our in-studio guests, and Lorraine and I are just dealing with the corona issue and how it's affecting the people. So, Damon, if you want to call in, if you have a few words and want to say something. And, again, for everybody listening to me, please share in the comments section the city that you live in, the city and state that you are living, and how it's affected your area, if the schools are closed. I know New Rochelle has the National Guard for a 1 mile radius. There's an area that they're quarantined off. So it's getting real serious. And again, I want people to hear this for those who may have just been tuned in. Despite what the current occupier of the White House is telling us, this is going to get worse.
Yeah.
This is going to get possibly much more worse before it gets any better. It's not just going to go away. There is no perfect this and perfect whatever the president was talking about. I do give him his props for at least staying on script. In that one press conference he had from the Oval Office, you can tell that was like he was reading from his script for most of the time. So I do give him props for that. But all the propaganda that came out and all the tweets after that, he's making it sound like this is not a big deal. This is a big deal. This will get worse, and it's going to spread. It's going to spread a lot worse before it gets better. So we have to prepare for that. And I can't keep urging people enough. I'm sorry to be Debbie Downer or the bearer of bad news, but the truth is the truth. Telling people, oh, it's going to go away fast and we're going to be through this in a couple of weeks and whatever else he's telling people is not it's just not correct. It's not responsible. And the one thing that we should, and I want people to remember this in this election. Can't tell you who to vote for. Can't even tell you what party to vote for, what candidate to vote for in the primary. But in times like this, we need a leader that we can believe. We need a leader who we can trust. The words coming out of their mouth, that they know what they're talking about, and when they try to assure us. We need that at this time, and I don't believe we have that, and I believe this is just showing us more that we don't have this, and people need to pay attention to this in the upcoming election and make informed decisions at the ballot box.
Well, you know what? That's what Governor Cuomo said today. He said that he had two requests from the White House today, and one of them was like, please tell the FDA to stop their nonsense and give them permission to do automated testing, because then you can do thousands and thousands of tests a day, more than what you're doing right now. That's number one. And two, he said we need leadership from the federal government. He says because right now he's not leading. And a perfect example. He said, how are you going to tell each state individually when this is already a pandemic? It's going to get really, really bad. We're talking about millions of people, but you're not. There is no coordination where everything is cohesive. He's saying, like, for example, if we do a curfew or we do a lockdown in New York and people can't go buy supplies or whatever, what they're gonna do? They're just gonna go to New Jersey and they're gonna bring the virus over there. The same thing happens over here. If they lock down Jersey's gonna come here. He's like, we're doing there's no unity, but it's not because the state's fault. It's because of the president's fault.
Absolutely.
And Pence, by the way, who's in charge of this. I mean, I think that their number one priority is, of course, it's important, the economy. They got the treasurer to lower down the interest rate to 0.25 today. I don't know what that means, but it seems important.
You know what? One of the things that everybody they accepted a lot from this president because the stocks were always going up. Mm-hmm. People's 401ks were doing good. Despite all that craziness, despite all that Mueller report and impeachment stuff and all that other stuff, all they cared about that their stocks was doing good. I know people who I've talked to who have lost several hundreds of thousands of dollars in the last week in the stock market. Several hundreds of thousands of dollars in the stock market. And that's just a few people that I know. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people I don't know. There's just a few people that I know and that I can talk to. Shout out to Matumbo Muhammad tuned in, Natalie Wilson, Nitra Gerald Hadley.
Dr. Rabati's calling now. He's going to be calling now.
Okay, and
thank you, Tasha.
Yes. Oh, is this him? Someone just is call. Hold on. Are you? Hello? Hello, I don't hear anything. Hello.
Hi, Gabi.
Let's try this again. Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Welcome to the People Before Politics radio show. How are you doing? And I want to thank you for taking the time to call in, sir.
My pleasure. Who am I speaking? I have the pleasure of speaking with whom?
This is A.J. Woodson. I am one of the hosts and the editor-in-chief of Black Westchester, along with my co-host.
Heard a lot about you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, I've met you a few times at a couple of Yonkers political fundraisers and functions. And we have the lovely Lorraine Lopez.
Hi, Dr. Rabati.
Oh, yes, Lorraine, of course. How are you, Lorraine? Long time.
I know. It's good to hear from you. Thank you for calling in, sir.
Now,
always a pleasure. Yes, Tasha's a good friend of ours. She invited me over, and thank you for having me tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Yeah. Now, one of the main reasons Damon and I wanted to definitely talk to a medical professional, and as soon as we said we needed one, Lorraine said you were the perfect person for the job. So we definitely had reached out. We wanted to reach out to you. There was a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of people that don't understand what the coronavirus is. And, people just don't know what to believe. And we hopefully would like to inform the audience a little bit after this, after you speaking, that to educate them a little bit better on what. First off, can you just, what is the coronavirus? Let's start there. Some people just don't know what that is. What is the coronavirus?
Sure, right. So the coronavirus gets its name because of its shape, the corona head, crown-like shape. It's just like any other virus. It stems a lot from, if you remember, the MERS and the SARS that had infected China and the Middle East a few years back, and the corona COVID-19. That's the name they're using now, the COVID-19, which is the novel corona 2019 virus. That's how they get those initials.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now,
The COVID-19 is a stem off a mutated virus that got really smart and knew how to change its shape and developed a lot of resistance to our immune system. The MERS, the Middle Eastern Respiratory Syncytial Virus, and the SARS were the preliminary ones, and the corona kind of stemmed off of those. There's lots of rumors out there. There are lots of stories. Right now, we know that the coronavirus has been out for a long time. I remember the coronavirus when I was in medical school in 1996, reading about it. But obviously, it's evolved and has adapted and caused this pandemic across the world right now. The coronavirus, just like any other viral syndrome, causes the same symptoms, but the coronavirus has not only caused the same symptoms, but has affected the entire world right now in a fashion that we haven't seen since the H1N1. Remember that one, the H1N1 in 2009?
Yes.
So I'll get to how I feel later, but right now, just to kind of inform everybody, the coronavirus is a viral syndrome. There is no antibiotic. There is no immune vaccine that we can give immunization. We kind of just let it run its course. The good news is this. I've had probably 3 positive COVID-19 patients in the past month, and all 3 patients are doing just fine. They're young, healthy people in their 40s and 50s that don't have another comorbid disease that can lower their immune system. So they're pretty much healthy people. The disease runs its course after probably, I would say, 5 to 7 days of fever, cough, shortness of breath, and headache. The swabs that I do, it's a nasal swab test that I do in my office now. I just got it on Monday. I got my first positive this week.
Wow.
And that patient is doing just fine. I talk to him every day. And that's the instructions. At the press conference the other day with the mayor, I hope what we said at the press conference kind of calmed everyone down. It was just basically a message. If you feel like you've been in contact with somebody with the COVID-19, or you yourself have the COVID-19, just quarantine yourself. Stay home. Stay in one room if you have the capabilities. Not everyone has multiple rooms in their house. Not everyone has multiple bathrooms. If you're sharing a bathroom with someone, wipe the bathroom down with some kind of cleanser before and after you use it. Wipe the doorknob down, the faucets, the handrails in your house. Never, ever share utensils. This is not a good time to share utensils and dishware. You want to wash everything with hot water. Wash your hands with hot water if you don't have any sanitizer. Sanitizer these days, Lorraine, is tough to get a hold of.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's tough to get a hold of sanitizers right now. So if you don't have sanitizer, just wash your hands for at least 20 seconds in hot water and soap. That'll do the trick. And just quarantine yourself. Be in touch with your primary doctor. If you don't have a primary doctor, you can call the hotline in Yonkers where we're using right now. It's St. John's Hospital. It's the 964-4706 number.
All right.
What about people outside
that's the hotline for Corona at St. John's Hospital.
What about people outside of Yonkers, like the rest of Westchester County? Is there a Westchester County number? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
there is.
So people that don't have the capabilities of don't have a primary doctor and don't have that. I would say call the DOH. It's tough. The problem is right now, AJ, the DOH is so backed up. I was on the phone with them yesterday to report a positive case that I had, and I got a machine, left a message that's checked every hour, and then they did call me back, and then after probably 3 hours after that, a nurse practitioner called me to discuss the case with me. So you're talking about 4 hours until someone got back to me, and I called in as a physician.
Wow. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions, and people have been asking me this, and I've seen this on various news analysts and talk shows. If you catch this and it runs this course, can you catch it again? You know, like some things, once you get it, you're good. But is there a danger that you can be reinfected with this again?
Yeah, you know what I worry about? It's a good question, AJ. What I worry about is superimposed viruses, meaning, let's say I get the COVID-19 today, it runs its course in 2 weeks. That doesn't mean I can't get the flu later on during the same season, which gives me the same symptoms.
Okay.
Right? The COVID-19, once you're positive, you're positive. It runs its course. It's not like you're going to keep getting a recurrent COVID over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's good. That's good. You know what? So let's rewind a little bit. Tell everybody who you are first, though, because we haven't really introduced you properly and talking about.
He's the great Mr. Dr. Rabati. Everybody knows.
So for those who don't know,
so Amir Rabati is my name. I am born and raised in Yonkers. Went through the entire school system here. Went to Manhattan College. I went through New York Medical College through a program in Guadalajara, Mexico. They have an international medical program there. I went there for 2 years. Came back to Valhalla at Westchester Medical Center and did my training there as an internal medical doctor. And then I did a critical care and family medicine through St. Joseph's in Yonkers and Winthrop Medical Center in Long Island. So I did about 5 years of training through family medicine, internal medicine, and critical care. Graduated in 2008 and went into education. I am a clinical professor at New York Medical College in Valhalla, where I teach family medicine. I have my own private practice. I am the medical director of education at St. John's Riverside Hospital. I am also the medical director at Sans Souci Nursing Home in Yonkers, and I am currently the chief police surgeon for the Westchester County Police. I also like to help the community. I have a volunteers positions where I am the health advisory chairman to Mayor Spano, and I am a trustee for the Board of Education for the city of Yonkers.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you so much for all you do, Doctor.
This is what
they call it, going above and beyond.
Right. I just wanted people to hear that. Like, you know, we're not just bringing somebody on who's just running off some numbers and stuff like whatever. You know, we have a qualified medical professional who knows what he's talking about, and that's one of the things we wanted so that we can get the full facts out there. So Lorraine ran down some numbers earlier. I'm sure if you were tuned in earlier to the show. I heard there's some new cases in Yonkers now. People really don't know what to believe with all of that. So
what's the biggest
numbers?
Misconception?
Yeah. As you go, what's one of the biggest misconceptions that are being put out?
The biggest misconception is if you're healthy and you have a past medical history that's basically really boring, and let's say you come across this disease and you're positive, you're not going to die. It's very unlikely you're going to die. Think about the numbers right now. Less than 3% of the people that have contracted this disease have died. So that means there's a 97% chance you're going to be okay. So I like the odds.
Right, absolutely. Who's the most endangered? Again, reiterate that.
Great, good question. And we've been hearing a lot about that. The other day, CBS interviewed me, and that's the question they were asking me. It's the elderly population. Their immune systems are lower. They're not as strong as they used to be. It's people that are on multiple medications for things like diabetes. Let's say someone's status post like chemotherapy. Those are the ones I worry about the most. Okay. People that contract the disease and lose their appetite and can't tolerate liquids and get dehydrated, and they're elderly, they're living at home alone. Those are the ones I worry about the most. Young, healthy people, this disease should really run its course, and it's not going to be comfortable. It's not easy. You're going to have a week of fevers and chills and headache and nausea. It's going to be a miserable feeling for a week, but you will get through it.
Now, once you get this, for those who, because I think it's evident that some people will get this. Once you get this, what do you do? They say like you can self quarantine yourself for 2 weeks, what things should you be doing during that time?
So let me give you an example, AJ and Lorraine, of a patient that I just had that was positive last week. So he is a young, healthy male in his 40s, was at a sporting event, noticed that one of the competitors had didn't look good. He said the person looked ill to him.
Mm-hmm.
And after the sporting event, he noticed about 3 or 4 days later, he developed fevers. He felt weak and tired. Called me. I brought him into my office on Monday. He's actually the first person that I swabbed for the disease. Swabbed him on Monday. I told him in about 3 to 5 days I should have the results. I said, in the meantime, I want you to quarantine yourself because that's the recommendation. So he went home. I took him out of work. He stayed home. He called me 3 or 4 times a day. I gave him my cell number. I said, please call me. It's an interesting case. I thought that this was like a flu or some viral syndrome. I didn't think he was positive for the COVID. Anyways, during the week, he would call me, check with me. He's like, Doc, I got fevers, but I'm able to eat. I'm able to drink. I'm home. I'm doing exactly what you're telling me. I'm staying away from my family. I'm in my room. I said, good. I said, continue what you're doing. And then Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, touch bases with me. Finally, Saturday, I got the result that he was positive for COVID-19. And I said to him, I said, listen, you're positive. I said, let's look at the glass half full, not empty here. I said, you're still with us. It's been about 10 days that you've been positive, and you're still with us. Talked to him yesterday. I talked to him again today. He's doing just fine. In about 2 to 3 days, he'll be back to his normal life. He'll be out of the quarantine, and he'll be back to work. And he'll no longer be infected. So he can't infect his coworkers or anything like that.
Wow. And one of the other things I've been hearing a lot of talk about, excuse me, are the mask. Like, there are a lot of people are just buying these generic masks all over, and they're walking around with them. But there's some of these masks are not going to prevent you from getting this. And
that's not what they're for.
Recommended right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
it's not what they're for. The masks are not. Right now, so for example, we were at St. John's Hospital last week. I was in the emergency room working, and there was a possible patient. So what that means is a patient came in through the ER and told us the history. He had just traveled from Europe, and he has a fever. So right away, when you travel from Europe and you got a fever, boom, you're going to be on the COVID-19 kind of awareness. Yeah. We put that patient in a private room. We gave the patient a mask, and we wore the N95 mask, which is the whole getup.
Right.
The whole thing that you see on TV. And we were in there examining the patient until we kind of ruled out that he wasn't COVID-19 24 hours later. But, those masks, AJ, they're really not recommended. I see a lot of people wearing them. I was at ShopRite yesterday morning, and a lot of people had masks on. I guess that makes you feel good. Go ahead and wear one. But I'm just giving you my medical advice. It's not recommended.
And a lot of people are wearing the little plastic gloves. Does that help?
Here's the thing with plastic gloves. Let's say you touch a surface area that has COVID-19, right? Mm-hmm. You just protected yourself from the COVID-19. That doesn't mean you can't spread it to somebody else, right? It's on your glove.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. That's quick and straight to the point.
Dr. Rabati, if you find yourself not feeling well and you think you have some symptoms, what is it that you're not supposed to do? You're not supposed to go to the emergency room, right? You're supposed to call your...
Please, yes. Please do not go to the emergency room. We're overwhelmed to begin with. And by walking in there, it's really selfish on our part to do that. There's a chance, if you are positive, you're going to infect the entire waiting room and the healthcare professionals. We're already putting our lives on the line. And a thumbs up to all the healthcare professionals, by the way. Yes. Nobody has called in sick. Nobody's called in sick at St. John's. Nobody's said any excuses to us. I'm the medical director there, and I see a lot of my workers. And I just want to give them a real shout-out.
Absolutely.
On your radio station to say thank you for all of your loyalty and your concern to the Yonkers community. They're really going above and beyond the call of duty right now.
I want to actually extend that to all not just everywhere.
In Westchester County,
because in Westchester County, we have people listening because through the internet throughout the country. So all the healthcare workers that are putting in that extra work, that are going over and beyond the call of duty, that they're just performing admirably. I mean, it's a thankless job. You're risking bringing this home, not only you getting it, bringing it home to your family. I mean, but they don't let that stop them from doing what they need to do. They're preparing, they're protecting themselves, and they're doing the job. So I'm glad you brought that up. I want to applaud all of the healthcare workers out there,
as well as our first responders, the police and fire and EMS. They're also putting their neck on the line out there when they're picking people up on ambulances and doing their calls.
Yes, they are. They really are. So do not walk into the emergency room. Call your primary care physician, and your primary care physician will take it from there, right?
Right. So the primary care physicians, every day I'm getting emails from the DOH. I'm assuming most of my colleagues are getting the same emails. It's questionnaires of us how to kind of dissect over the phone each patient's questions to kind of rule out who is a possible suspect of the disease and who isn't. So those questions are really important. And if you want to go over those questions, I'll be more than happy to go over those questions.
Oh, yes, actually, that would be great.
So the first one, obviously, is any recent travel. If they answer yes, that takes them into the category. Has anyone been a positive COVID-19 patient? That obviously takes you into the category again. Have you had any fevers unexpectedly? Have you had any chills? Has anyone in your family been ill? Any recent sick contacts? So those are the three main questions that we ask. And then after that, we ask symptomatic questions. Have you been taking your temperature? Are you having difficulty breathing? Is there a headache? Is there a cough? Is it a productive cough versus a dry cough? Those are the kind of questions the DOH really wants us to kind of ask the patients.
I had a doctor's appointment this week and an eye doctor's appointment this week, and I had to answer those questions over the phone before I could come in to those appointments. They definitely asked.
But AJ, I'll tell you this. I probably have seen, and I think this is going to make everyone feel a little better right now. Over the last 2 months, I've seen so many patients with those symptoms, and I've swabbed them for the flu or any like other viral syndromes, and they've come back negative. And I just assumed, and most of my colleagues, we assumed that these patients just had some kind of weird bug. Just until recently, we figured out, you know what? Those patients were probably COVID-19 positive. They just went just kind of like right under the radar.
Let me ask you a question, Dr. Rabati. Children, they seem to be a little bit immune to it. Is it because the immune system is developing, or is there any reason?
The ones most children have good immune systems in this area, unless they have, again, some underlying disorder. But it's the newborns we worry about.
Oh my
Those
God.
are the ones that are higher. It's the newborns and the elderly are the two age groups that we worry about the most.
Now, you touched upon this a little bit. Whether we like to believe it or not, there are a lot of people, some that are listening in the 43 municipalities of Westchester and the surrounding areas, who do not have health benefits, who do not have primary care doctors, physicians, and what do they do? And I'm sure we have immigration and stuff like that where people are scared to go anywhere because we have an immigration situation that they're scared of ICE or whatever, so they may not they don't have someone that they can call. What recommendations would you make?
So I would look for a public clinic that's out there. I know I'm not sure. I know your station goes broad around Westchester. For Yonkers is what I know best. I know at Park Care on Ashburton Avenue they have a clinic. St. Joseph's Medical Center on South Broadway has a clinic. They have two of them right on South Broadway, at 415 South Broadway and at 75 and 81 South Broadway. Those are clinics. You can just walk in. You pay a flat rate of $50, and that $50 covers your visit and your lab test.
Okay.
That's not bad.
So is there somewhere a number they can call or a website that they can go to find out where they can go if they're not in Yonkers? If they're in any other place where they can find out a safe place for them to go. They don't have benefits. They don't have a physician. But what do they do?
Right. So Westchester County, the the Westchester Medical Center in Valhalla is a safe haven hospital for people of Westchester County. The DOH also has multiple clinics that go around Westchester County. You got to go on the website and find those clinics. If you don't have internet, you can call those numbers for the DOH. I gave a number earlier for St. John's Hospital, 964-4706. That's 914-964-4706. They can direct you to their clinic, which is on Ashburn, the old Yonkers General Hospital. That's a nice big clinic that's up right now, that's up and running with multiple medical providers.
Okay. Show me that again, Lorraine, or can you post that?
Yeah, there's a New York State coronavirus hotline. And the number to that is 1-888-364-3065. And this number is the number that you also call if you want to go into the drive-thru in New Rochelle.
Okay.
This is the number to call.
Yeah,
I'm going to post it.
Can you post that? Yes, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And they ask you questions before you go into the drive-thru to see if you're actually a candidate for that test or not.
You have to call this. You have to call this number to see whether or not you and then you have to go in by an appointment. Yeah.
You know, one of the things, we got a lot of calls this week from people that are in the 5 boroughs. So when they see the news and they hear about the National Guard in New Rochelle, the story says in Westchester, because, you know, they're from the 5 boroughs. I've gotten calls, and people that I know have gotten calls. Oh, man, the whole Westchester shut down. The National Guard's all over the place. That one incident is, as far as I know, only in a 1-mile area in New Rochelle, not the county of Westchester. But if you're a New York City news organization, you're saying in Westchester, and it sounds like you're saying, so people are calling their relative thinking like all of Westchester is shut down. I've seen a lot of that this week.
Right, and that was Governor Cuomo's call. He closed an area called Waikagil. It's an area in New Rochelle where that synagogue was that had the first few suspects, the first few patients. And it was a 1-mile radius because he felt that was the hot zone. And what I mentioned the other day, Westchester County right now is at one big hot zone. And if you look at New York State, how many have been affected? I don't know, Lorraine, the numbers for the day, but as of yesterday, Westchester County was still the highest rate.
We got
of,
196
coronavirus
today,
patients.
sir. 196 today.
Yeah,
in
196.
Westchester County,
Yeah, that's so for a while. I heard New York City's trying to catch up, but Westchester is the number one area, the number one county in the state of New York right now.
Dr. Rabati, how? I don't want, without making it sound scary, how bad do you think it's going to get for us?
I think this disease will run its course. We're looking for a plateau right now. The curve is going up. We're just every day we're getting more and more patients that are positive. We need to plateau, and that's why I kind of agree with Governor Cuomo. I think Governor Cuomo, by the way, is doing a fabulous job.
Oh my God, isn't he? Yes.
He's doing an awesome job. This is like presidential material what he's doing right now. Very proud of him. Proud to be a New Yorker right now. I think by doing the social distancing, closing the schools was a difficult call. I mean, I'm part of the school trustees, and that's a tough call because a lot of kids rely on schools for safe haven and for meals. But I think we have to distance ourselves for the next 2 weeks. I personally feel, my medical opinion, this is just my medical opinion, I think in about 2 to 3 weeks this whole thing will blow over.
Do you?
I have a faith in that too. Dr. Rabati, the Yonkers Public School is going to be closing for 2 weeks?
So Monday and Tuesday were closed so far.
Yes.
There is, I can't discuss too much of that right now, but there is some possibility that we may be closing longer.
Okay.
And like I said, I've been informed Mount Vernon is closed for at least 2 weeks. Westchester District Attorney candidate Mimi Roca told me her kid's school in Scarsdale is closed for about 2 weeks. I know New Rochelle schools are all closed, and I know there's several other municipalities that are doing this closed. And I even just talked to my aunt in Georgia. Some of the schools down there are closing for 2 weeks. So a lot of the schools are closing. I think that's good, and the opportunity to clean the schools. One of the things I was talking about early, I just wrote an article about March Madness 2020 being the month that sports became a casualty of the coronavirus. Like, this is the first time in my lifetime, I'm 54 years old, where there is no basketball in March. This is unheard of, and every major sports league has shut down. This is unheard of. There are sports fans losing their minds right now because there's no sports. Even the Masters is shut down for the first time since World War II. This is the first year it will not take place. I know that is a lot of people are concerned about that. Are you there?
Right, yeah.
Oh,
Sports are definitely a big part of this country, a big part of society.
Right.
And you look at what sports does. It brings people together. Sports bars and coming over my house to watch the big fight and UFC and those type of things. Right now, those things are not available, and it makes us understand how great life is and how wonderful and how we take things for granted sometimes. And we look at us as Americans. We live in the greatest country in the world. That's why our parents brought us here in the 1950s and 60s. This is the greatest country in the world. And we take things for granted sometimes. Things like water and having food in your refrigerator and being able to turn the TV on and watch a game and kick back and crack open a beer and enjoy the game. Those things are not available right now for some people. And we pray for them. We wish everyone to be safe and healthy right now. As a physician, I say to everybody, continue to sanitize, clean the surface areas at your house, the railings, the doorknobs, hug your families, kiss your families. Just make sure you wash your hands first.
Right, and I just want to go over that one more time for those that are concerned, things that you can do to prevent and as a precaution. The washing of the hands for 20 seconds is very important. And the wiping down, I want you to, if you could just reiterate that, because that is so important.
Right, so surface areas are any areas like counter spaces, railings, doorknobs, your phones, Lorraine, right?
Yes.
The phones.
Yes.
Don't forget your phones. Clean your phones, especially when you're passing your phone around speaking to family. The tables, your kitchen tables, the chairs, your bureaus in your bedrooms, these type of things. Make sure you guys all wipe them down every single day, at least once. Once is not enough. At least 2 to 3 times per day. Just wipe them down, especially if it's a heavy traffic area.
Right.
If you can keep the surface areas clean and spray them down with Lysol or some kind of Clorox wipe or bleach, something with a strong chemical compound in it, it has shown evidence that it decreases a virus's lifespan. So you can wipe out a virus very easily by just continuing to sanitize.
Yeah, that's why we have to be proactive. Yeah.
I even do my doorknobs too. That's.
Dr. Rabati, I have a question. The weather's getting warm outside, and there's a possibility. Well, it's a fact for many, but there's a kids staying home. Do you recommend that the parents take them out to the park?
Yeah, I took my kids to the park. I mean, listen, they're kids. I really haven't explained too much of this virus to my kids. I have a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And yesterday we went to the park. We played some basketball. The kids played on the slides. It's important to do that. I'm not saying you have to go there and sanitize the slide and the swing. But you just got to be careful. Make sure your kids are dressed. And when you come home, take the children and make sure they all clean up and wash their hands and wash their, obviously clean themselves up, just to kind of desanitize. But definitely the kids need that fresh air.
Yeah, that's good to know.
That's a bad thing to do.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
And I mean, it led me to one of the questions I was going to ask you. There were people who said if they self-quarantine themselves, does that mean they can't go on their front or back porch? They have to stay in the house or in their room? Can they sit on their porch, or they can't? Then they should stay in? Or what do you recommend as far as that?
What level of quarantine? Yeah.
Right. So level of quarantine for someone who's been exposed to disease or positive for the disease, AJ?
Well, both.
Both, and then people that are just been exposed. Yeah, both. Actually, both. If you can explain both.
So let's talk about the extreme would be if you're positive for COVID-19, you want to quarantine yourself to one area of the house, make sure no one goes into that room. And again, I said earlier, not everyone has the luxury of having multiple rooms in their house. So if that's the case, that person that's positive should wear a mask, should clean up the surface areas whenever he or she are leaving that room. So if they have to use the bathroom and there's only one bathroom in the house, the counter, the faucet, the toilet, the lever on the toilet, all of that stuff should be sprayed and cleaned before and after they use it, and back into the quarantine area. For someone who is suspected of having the disease, very similar to the same thing, but I have a husband and wife right now that one of them is on quarantine, and they decided, you know what, we're going to both go through this together. And I was fine with it. I said, he's not positive yet, so if she wants to hang out with you, I'm okay with it. But if you develop any symptoms of fever, headache, any of the main symptoms of the COVID, shortness of breath and cough, then you got to get tested. And once you get tested, now your wife is going to be quarantined.
So if somebody tests positive in a household of like 5 or 6, do the other people there have to self-quarantine? Right.
So that's the domino effect.
Yeah.
If one person is positive, they're positive for COVID-19. The rest of the family now has to be quarantined.
Oh wow.
That's the guidelines from the DOH.
I want to thank you for your time, because I understand, time is very important, and I thank you for sharing all of this with our audience. I want to know, like, if there's anything I did not ask you that you want the people to know, or any message you want to definitely make sure that you impart on them, that needs to be even if it's said again.
Even though I'm a medical doctor, I got a strong natural side to me, and I think natural medications right now are really good. Things like meditation, immune boosters like vitamin C. I'm a big fan of vitamin C. I think right now is a good time to kind of boost your immune system, and eat healthy, drink plenty of water, fresh fruit and vegetables, eat some protein every single day, take your vitamins. I think stay sharp mentally. Any disease that's positive not only affects the body, affects the mind also. So I tell everyone to make sure you get your exercise, walk around the block. Don't just isolate yourself at home all day. That's not healthy. Get out of the house, get some fresh air. Just don't go into a packed, crowded area.
Don't panic, right?
And don't panic. We'll get through this.
And we
will get through this.
Do you think it's a good idea if people are, because there are a lot of people that are like terrified to reach out to a health professional for some like therapy or something?
Yeah, I know Montefiore Medical Center has a great behavioral group that has a strong outreach to the community. If you have the capabilities to call Montefiore and just say you want to speak to one of the behavioral specialists, they'll be more than happy to get on the phone with you.
Well,
and again, I offer this to everybody. I'm only one person. I can only take care of so many people. But please, if anyone has any questions out there, my office phone number is 914-476-8855. I'll be more than happy to help you in any case of emergency. But again, I'm only one person, and I have a very busy practice. But if you're stuck and you have nowhere to turn, just call my office. Tell them, listen, Dr. Abadi, I really just need to ask him a question about this COVID-19. I'll be more than happy to pick up the phone free of charge to talk to you and just kind of guide you through this.
You know what? I applaud you on that. I definitely.
Dr. Abadi, you're an amazing human being. Thank you.
And again,
listen, every one of us has to help right now. I think this is the time where we come together as a community. I'm going to talk about Yonkers. I know you guys are Westchester, but for Yonkers, I want us to kind of pull ourselves together. Let's stay strong, and let's get through this. In the next couple of weeks, we'll get through this. And next year, this time, we're going to have to deal with another virus. But let's enjoy the next 11 months until something else comes out.
Again, I want to thank you for your time, and that really means a lot to take your time and your expertise and share it with our audience to educate. And I know we concentrated a lot on Yonkers, but a lot of what you said is universal.
Applies to everybody.
And yes, and no matter where you live, this information can be utilized and very useful. So I want to thank you again. Have a great rest of the weekend. My prayers with you be keeping safe, especially as you're dealing with a lot of the public. You and your family staying safe.
Dr. Rabati, is it okay if things changes in a couple of weeks? Is it okay for us to call upon you again, sir?
Absolutely. I'm here at your service anytime. You guys call me. And let's get Lorraine, come by the office one day. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Okay. I will, sir. I will.
All right.
Thank you. God
take
bless
care.
you
Bye-bye,
for
AJ.
everything you do.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you for your
God bless
time
you all.
and have
Bye-bye.
a blessed rest of the day. Yes, so I wanted to.
That was
that was. Go ahead and introduce.
that was Dr. Amir Rabati that so graciously called us and answered so many questions that we've had and it actually calmed a little bit of my fears. How about you?
Well, I knew most of the answers. I'm glad to hear it. One of my concerns, and me and Damon had this conversation. Hopefully, we calm down some of the fears of the public, of our listening audience. Hearing it from a medical professional, as like me and you personally could know everything about this, but hearing it from a medical
An expert,
professional,
and he's not worried. I'm not saying he's not worried. He's obviously concerned,
right?
but you know.
So we're gonna throughout the week we're gonna at some point we're gonna you have this show. The show will you can watch the show over and over, and I'm gonna try to edit just this portion of with the doctor and put that on the website so we can
That would be
blast that
great.
out and
Yeah.
hopefully educate people.
I'm
The
sure
big
Mayor
takeaway.
Spano probably tried to call in while he was in,
Right.
but we appreciate the attempt.
Well, I mean, the doctor was the most important thing.
Yeah.
Then hear it from elected officials. I respect, Mayor Spano, but the doctor. And again, like, utilize the information. There's things that you can do. Eating healthy. A lot of like you said, vitamin C. Whether you're taking the pills, whether you're.
I'm sure
you're
Damien's
vitamin C-
like to hear that because he said natural foods.
Right. And you can get your vitamin C from your fruits, or you can take it as the
Orange juice, right?
Yeah, or your fresh or your fruits themselves, and or take the vitamin C pills, the vitamins, and the biggest thing is washing your hands, wiping down your surfaces, not shaking hands with people. If you do cough into your elbow. Like so,
Stop doing like me. Stop touching your face with your hands.
well, and that's the need. You know what? And because that is almost seems impossible for some people, that's the need for washing your hands all day long. Wash your hands when you first walk into your house. Please wash your hands before you go into your refrigerator and anything like that. If you work with the public, movie theaters, where there's still a little bit of a crowd, take them clothes off immediately, take a shower, wash yourself down good, get the outside germs off of you before you lay down in your bed. Wash your sheets frequently.
Just put new sheets in the bed.
Yeah. Wash. I just washed them last week, and I'm gonna go tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm gonna wash everything, the pillowcases and everything, the blankets, everything again. But change your sheets often. Those are the things you can do. And again, check on your neighbors. Check on the elderly that you know, if they're like in your building, on your block, in your neighborhood. Please, I want to give a shout out to a couple of people. Mount Vernon, Councilwoman Delia Farquharson is tuned in, and I don't know if Delia, if she heard me. This whole coronavirus thing is one more reason why we need to keep and fight to save and transform Mount Vernon Hospital. We don't need any hospitals closing at this point. And this coronavirus pandemic is just one example. Shout out to Arnold T.C. Clark from Central Ice of Long Island. What's up, my brother? Carlton Bedford Dozier, Glenn Butler, Cookie Alexander Campbell. We said that already. Gabby Nabler.
Hey, Gabby.
Neighbor.
Neighbor. That's Dr. Rabati's niece.
Oh, okay.
She's the one that asked Dr. Rabati if he can call in.
Well, thank you,
Gabby.
Thank you, Councilwoman Tasha Diaz, and thank you, Lorraine Lopez, who got the ball rolling. Me and Damon said we needed at least a medical professional, and she said, I know the perfect person, and she put the ball in motion, and she contacted them, and they did what they did, and she stayed on top of it to make sure that it happened.
I mean, I appreciate because it was short notice, you know. I mean, right now, doctors, especially somebody with his stature, should be very, very busy, and he took the time.
Right,
I mean, and that's very appreciated, and it should be acknowledged. Yeah,
we had a show scheduled, a regular show scheduled with guests, and Lorraine is one of the people that made when people the first say, you know, we need to deal with this coronavirus thing. We need to do a show on that. So we were able to reschedule our guests or postpone them to later. You know, the primary is not till June, so we got plenty of time to get them on before the race. And Lorraine made it happen with the doctor, and you know she did some research, and I just want to thank everybody who tuned in, everybody who shared what's going on in their area, shared any information. I greatly appreciate all of you for tuning in. You could be doing anything else right now. I'm sure there's more entertaining things on television or whatever right now than a show on the coronavirus, and some people are just tired of hearing about it. I hope that, you know, this show put aside, like you said, made some people feel at ease.
But also put everything in perspective. The bottom line, it is going to get worse.
Well,
but like the doctor said, we're going to get past it. We're going to get through it. 80%, 97% right now are, you know, they're doing okay. Listen, Yonkers Public School just put out an announcement, and I'm sure this goes for other school districts that probably have not posted as of yet, because it is a directive from the governor. They said that they're gonna let people know as far as school closing beyond Tuesday, but this is the important part. And there is going to be grab-and-go breakfast and lunch for school children after March, after Tuesday, if the school closed. There's going to be, and that's what the governor keeps saying, close the schools, but make sure they're fed. Yonkers has already taken care of the situation, and I'm sure all the other districts are as well. So but for those who have children and are wondering.
Stay tuned to Black Westchester. We'll do our best to try to gather all that information for you. Shout out to Paul Anthony Cuesta, also Pastor David Randolph Holder from New Rochelle. Shout out to the New Rochelle pastors. They had a major New Rochelle the pastors got together and had a big prayer, vigil, yeah, but over the phone, I think it was, because, you know, instead of a large gathering.
Oh, wow.
And I know there was
that must have been special.
I know St. Catherine, Shiloh, Bethesda, Pastor Holder's church on Main Street, I can't never remember the name, and a lot of the other pastors in the area, so they did that, so I applaud them on that. Shout out to, it was somebody, I just wanted to make sure, somebody said they was tuned in from Jamaica, Queens. I wanted to make sure I shouted them out, because I saw that earlier and I can't find that comment.
What up, Hector Santiago?
Yes, what up, Hector Santiago? He said, thank you for everything, y'all. Do get the facts to the people. We appreciate everyone on the team. Thank you, Hector. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. And wherever everybody's tuned in from, I just thank y'all for tuning in, man, and thank you for
just stay safe, people. You know, practice common sense. Like, you know, it's very simple. We can contain this if we keep washing our hands, stay sanitized, avoid large places, groups of people, you know. Or what together organizing or whatever people do in large groups, and stay home as much as possible. If you don't have to go out, then don't go out.
Absolutely. And a couple of other comments. Sandy Barnaby said, I'm so proud of the Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio's leadership and severe actions to curtail the community spread of coronavirus. She said hello. Carlton Bedford Dozier said it's madness out here. My immune system is strong through the years of juicing, courtesy of Juices for Life in the Bronx. Shout out to Juices for Life. That's Styles P joint from the Locks.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. And he said I was happy to hear Dr. Rabai talk about the natural, holistic
Yeah,
approach
that's what I'm saying.
to
Yeah, you saw
combat
that, right?
this pandemic. Thank you for that, Carlton. Yes, and that was very important. And like I said, hopefully people got something out of this. We're gonna post this so people can continue to listen to it. Carol Washington. Kim Samoy. Did I say that right? Soma.
Yeah, Kim Samoya.
Kim Samoya from Jamaica, Queens. Shout out to Kim, tuned in from Jamaica, Queens. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate everybody and Dawn Fonseca at Fonseca.
Dawn Fonseca. Hey, what's up, Dawn?
Yes. So she was tuned in. She had left a couple of comments.
She's the best. Thank you, baby.
Yes. So, Lorraine, any last words about this, about the virus, about precautions, about anything that you want to put out there?
No, just to be vigilant. A big shout out to Governor Cuomo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way he's been going every day, doing his press conference and detailing and he's giving you numbers and statistics and and he's giving it to Trump too. And the leadership that he has, I agree with Sandy Barnaby. The leadership that he has shown through all this, it's second to none. We
were able to show. I showed about 5 minutes of his press conference from today. Yeah. I just posted the link in the comment section. So after we go off, if you want to watch the press conference in its entirety on Facebook, I just posted the video. Shout out to Melissa, Lisa Wilkins, and the whole Mob family. So again, I just want everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in, and letting us educate you. Hopefully, you were informed today. Hopefully, you learned. Shout out to Lisa Mitchell. Shout out to George Latimer. Hector Santiago said.
Yeah, George Latimer. Yeah, he cool. He cool. He doing all right.
And he also said, "Thank you, Lorraine, for checking on me because of my immune system." Shout out to Damon K. Jones for the recipe. So Damon, real quick, and I guess that is a good segue. Damon K. Jones is starting a new site called Plant-Based, not base without the D, plantbasedpower.org. He is now certified. He's got like 3 or 4 different certifications as a health coach, and 2 other things. So he's really going hard. He's been taking his certifications, and he, to help people. He's doing his last one on addictions because food is actually some foods are addiction.
Especially
so to be able to help people with their addiction to certain foods. So I think that's the latest certification he's getting now. So he's a certified wellness coach. Yeah,
good for him. He's a man of many talents.
And his new site is plant-based, BASE without the D, plantbasedpower.org. I'm not sure if it's fully functional yet, but
he
that's
got a Facebook page.
He got a Facebook page. He got an Instagram page, Plant-Based Power 914. Also, follow us. We have a new Instagram page. The radio show has a new Instagram page, folks. Everybody follow the radio show Instagram page. PBP, People Before Politics, PBP Radio Show. PBP Radio Show.
PBP, say that fast.
Yeah, PBP Radio Show is the new Instagram page for the radio show. You can see clips, who guests we had before, pictures, guests that we have coming up, all information about the show. Again, with everything closing down, we decided to not have any in-studio guests today. And if we're on next week, we definitely may do the same thing. But there's a possibility, because of the shutdowns and stuff, that the station may be shut down. So this could be the last show for a while. Hopefully it will not be. That's why I wanted to make sure we were on today, and we dealt with coronavirus. Lorraine, go ahead.
No, it's got nothing to do with anything, but it has everything to do with me. I want to give a very happy birthday to my daughter, Taina. I love you. I love you, baby girl. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, girl. That's what's up. That's what's up. Follow blackwestchester.com for all of these stories. We're going to be covering as much as possible. Posting, follow us on Facebook as well, on different Facebook pages. We're going to try to share all this information and keep you informed on what's going on with this coronavirus situation.
And fill out the census forms, please.
And the census, I received ours. Household got ours yesterday, so they're being mailed out. They're reaching houses in the last few days. Please take the time to fill out the census and mail it back in, or go online and fill it out online. And Lorraine said you could even do it from your smartphone or your tablet or your device like that too. So take the time to fill out the census. The census determine how your municipality, your city is going to be funded. And times like outbreaks and pandemics like now, your cities need to be funded. And go ahead, Lorraine.
I'm sorry, I just got another announcement.
Okay.
Charter school are excellent. In Yonkers, Carmen Goldberg, Sabata Cruz, and them. Charter school has been closed until further notice.
Okay, and Amani Charter School in Mount Vernon is closed for the next 2 weeks to probably for the rest of March, for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you for that, Carmen Goldberg.
Thank you, Carmen, for all that you do. Thank you for all our advertisers, all our supporters. And even though it's a little late, let me pay a bill. I didn't get a chance to do that today because we were talking about Corona. Let me put this on.
And shout out to all the DPW workers out there and the parks people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Tom Law, you're doing a great job in Yonkers, DPW worker. He put in a post, and nobody mentions the DPW workers.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Ty Associates is a BBB accredited financial firm serving Mid-Hudson, New York, and the surrounding areas. From tax return preparation and amended returns to refund planning, we offer reliable financial services with keen attention to detail. Since 1998, we have proven the quality of our service with our clientele reaching across all 50 states. Ty Associates manages the Mets. Money, energy, time, and space. Let us go to bat for you. Ty Associates, tying it all together.
And that is our advertiser, Ty Associates. Please give them a call. Thank you to them for being a constant supporter. They just renewed their ad. We appreciate them. Shako. Oh, and I forgot. Vera Shako. She tuned in. Yonkers City Court candidate Vera Shako. She said, "Great show. Thank you, AJ and Lorraine."
Hey, Varys, how you doing, honey?
So, yeah, that brings us to the end of our show. As you see, I forget to pay the bills. As we see, we have 30-second commercials if you want to have a commercial for your business campaign or organization. We have 30-second commercial spots available. Contact us as blackwestchester at gmail.com. We're debating right now. Now, this is something that we're discussing right now. The paper is supposed to come out on Tuesday. But 70% of the place that we distribute the paper are the churches, and a lot of them are closing, and the community centers, and a lot of them are closing, and the libraries and places that people gather. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to. So we're definitely going to have a strong digital presence. It will be everywhere digitally on every social media forum. We'll do the email blast and everything. We're not sure if we're going to release the print edition this Tuesday or not. We're playing it by ear, so people just bear with us. But it will definitely, tomorrow or Tuesday night, you will definitely have the digital version. It will be on all our Facebook pages, all our social media. Damon and myself will both do the email blast. Lorraine will share it on her pages. So I just wanted to let everybody know, because when people are not gathering, so we may just push it back a little bit, but the digital version will be. And for our advertisers, we will make sure that you get a heavy push on the website and on our social media for your events or whatever it is that you've advertised. So we will definitely make sure that you get your money's worth, and your ad will go on, unless it's for an event that passed, your ad will be in the paper when it does come out. So that said, so just wanted to pay those bills and do the housekeeping. Last words?
Yeah, just one more thing. Shout out to the National Guard for coming in and doing what they got to do, making sure that places are sanitized, and hopefully building an area in SUNY College just so that they can have beds in there to use if in need. And Donna Nola's son is one of those National Guard folks that is in New Rochelle right now. So big shout out to Donna Nolan.
And James was James, right?
James' brother Joe.
Joe, okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. You could be doing anything else we decide about us. We greatly appreciate it. That's it. I said the advertising. I said the paper. I said all of those things. Not sure. Play by ear. Watch our Instagram and Facebook pages on whether we will be on next week or
just
not.
like with everything else going on.
We're
nobody
going to
knows.
take it day by day. But thank you all for tuning in. Share this video with everyone. And continue to support Black Westchester, or check with blackwestchester.com for further updates. This has been the People Before Politics radio show. We are on every Sunday 6 to 8 on inthemixradio.com, giving you the real talk for the community since 2014. Until next time, peace.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And I'm not afraid to say.